Apple have sold over 100 million iPads since the first one was launched 3 years ago. The iPad mini is their first foray into the 7-inch tablet market, so let's take a close look at this new offering from Apple. The first impression is that it doesn't simply look like a shrunken iPad 2, it feels like a complete redesign. The side areas that we're used to seeing on an iPad have been minimized to keep the width as narrow as possible. The aluminium back reinforces the premium feel of this tablet, with rounded sides that are very different to the larger iPad, and the edge has a small chamfer to add that enhanced design detail. It is amazingly thin at only 7.2mm, and at 308 grams it is very light in your hand. You instantly feel that this is a finely made piece of tech, no creaks or squeaks to be heard. Now the iPad mini is 200mm in height and 134mm in width. I have a pretty average hand size and I can grip it from thumb to finger, but you don't actually need to. You can just as easily hold it from a bottom corner, that's how light it is. Now if you're holding it in portrait mode, your palm will naturally touch the screen. But Apple have thought of this and added a feature that ignores palm rests on the screen in portrait mode, a subtle but important addition that enhances the way you can use the mini. Button placement follows the general principles of the iPad mini's larger sibling, with some subtle modifications. At the top we have the power button, a stereo headphone jack, and in the center here is a mic. Over here we have the mute or rotation toggle and 2 volume control buttons. The physical home button remains as ever on the bottom center below the screen. The stereo speaker is located on the bottom of the iPad mini. The new tiny lightning connector is nestled in between the 2 speaker grills. As we've seen with the iPhone 5, it's very easy to plug in the lightning cable as it's reversible. Another little nifty feature is its ability to charge via a computer's USB port. On the back, the main camera sits here. This contains a 5-megapixel 5-element lens with an f-stop 2.4 aperture setup. The camera can shoot 1080p full high-definition videos. The front camera is now 1.2 megapixels, so it can take pictures at 720p, which is great for those self-portraits. FaceTime and other video conference apps look pretty good when using this camera too. The screen resolution of the iPad mini's 7.9-inch display is 1024 by 768, which is identical to the iPad 2 in resolution and aspect ratio. As a result, the pixel density comes in at 163 pixels per inch, much higher than the iPad 2 due to the smaller real estate. Because the screen ratio remains consistent with the other iPad family members, app design and functionality won't be affected at all. It really is just a smaller screen on a lighter, smaller iPad. And because the screen ratio has not been messed with, the browser layout does look like a tablet display with smaller dimensions. Web pages present extremely well because of the 4:3 ratio, and there are over 250,000 tablet-specific apps waiting for you to use with the iPad mini. Now the iPad mini's processor is a dual-core A5 chip, which is the same as the iPad 2's internals. First impressions are that opening apps, browsing online, and looking at messages doesn't really have any perceived lag or stuttering. Now the iPad mini runs iOS 6, and some of the notable features include Siri, that can launch apps, post social media messages on your behalf, and now answer a much larger range of questions. There's Facebook integration across a lot of the Apple environment, and if you're a desktop Safari user, you can now sync your tabs across your devices using iCloud tabs. So that's our first look at the iPad mini. If you want to see our unboxing video of the iPad mini and go through the setup process with us, click over here. If you want to see the iPad mini benchmarked against the Google Nexus 7, click right over here. As always, we'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments area below. Please share this video with your family and friends, and if you really like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Until next time. See if it fits in the pocket. Huh. There you go. Not bad. Unboxing. No hands. Benchmarking. I might take this home.